the young and the restless spoilers. Welcome back to our channel, you beautiful chaos gremlins. It's a gorgeous day to completely lose our minds over the latest Genoa City drama. Grab your iced coffees and strap in, because we are diving straight into the madness right now. You guys, I am deceased. Stop what you are doing. I am literally shaking. Wait, we need to talk about this now, because my brain is genuinely short-circuiting and I cannot process the absolute cinematic mayhem that just unfolded on my screen. I am filming this while running errands, dodging pedestrians like I'm at the Erst. I'm in an obstacle course, because if I don't vent about this exact moment right this second, I will spontaneously combust. Send help? My soul has actually left my body. I was mid-skincare when this scene dropped, and I straight up smeared charcoal mask all over my vintage Persian rug because I literally had to yeet my phone across the room. We are not just watching this show anymore, besties. We are invested. We are emotionally tethered to this absolute dumpster fire of a storyline, and I am personally victimized by what just happened to our undisputed queen, Nikki Newman. Wait, backtrack for a second? I missed a step. We need to set the scene because the vibes were genuinely so heavy and depressing. So, basically, Nikki has been living in this absolute nightmare of blindness, right? And it is destroying her. Like, this is Nikki Newman. She is a titan, she is a legend, she is the matriarch of the most chaotic family in Wisconsin, and suddenly she is completely stripped of her independence. She can't do anything by herself. She is totally reliant on everyone else, which is honestly so unhinged when you remember that Victor literally just used her medical vulnerability to steal her Newman Enterprises shares. Did I say that yet? My brain is mush. Moving on. But seriously, they are officially on my do not perceive list because the audacity of this family is astronomical. Nikki is suffocating in this darkness, feeling like a burden, and the psychological toll is just radiating off the screen. I was literally hyperventilating right now, just thinking about how trapped she feels. Oh, hold on. I should have mentioned this earlier, but the lighting in this scene was straight up giving me psychological thriller energy. It's the middle of the night, or at least we think it's the night, but the absolute tragedy is that Nikki has no idea. She's trapped in this endless, suffocating void where time doesn't exist anymore. It could be 3 a.m., it could be 3 p.m., it's all just a black abyss to her. The existential dread of that sensory deprivation is genuinely too much for my fragile heart to handle. She is wandering around the massive, echoing Newman Ranch, and it's so quiet you could hear a pin drop. And don't even get me started on the vibes, the shadows, the silence, the sheer isolation of it all. It felt like I was watching an indie horror masterpiece, where the monster is just her own crushing dependency. I was clutching my chest, physically unwell, just watching her try to navigate her own bedroom. So, Nikki is in this dark void, and she decides she wants to put on lipstick. Bestie, be for real right now. This is the most Nikki Newman thing to ever happen. Even in the depths of despair, she wants her armor. She wants that signature lip color because it's a symbol of her control, her identity, her sheer power. She's fumbling around in the dark, her hands shaking, just trying to find this tiny little tube of normalcy. The tactile desperation of her fingers grazing the vanity, knocking over expensive perfume bottles. Wait, was that a Baccarat bottle? I swear the set designers are so extra, but I digress. She finds the lipstick, and for a split second, you think, okay, she's got this. She's going to put it on and feel like herself again. But no, the universe is literally out to get her. She uncaps the lipstick, and she tries to apply it. But she can't see. She can't see the mirror. She can't see her own face. She has absolutely no spatial awareness of her own reflection anymore. She tries to guide the color onto her lips, and it just smears. It goes outside the lines, and she can feel it. She can feel the messy, chaotic reality of her situation literally painted onto her face. It is so tragic, I was genuinely sobbing into my steering wheel. The frustration, the humiliation, the sheer indignity of not even being able to groom yourself without someone holding your hand, it all comes crashing down on her in this one devastating micro moment. I am literally hyperventilating right now, just replaying the look of pure, unadulterated defeat on her face. And then, the breaking point. You guys. She completely snaps. The dam breaks, the walls cave in, and the villain arc, or rather, the tragic heroine arc, goes nuclear. Nikki lets out this gut-wrenching, soul-tearing scream that I felt in the marrow of my bones. She hurls that lipstick across the room like it's a cursed object. The sound of that expensive little gold tube hitting the mahogany door was so loud, it genuinely made me jump. She is sobbing, she is gasping for air, and she is just entirely consumed by the unfairness of it all. I was screaming at my screen, "Someone hug her, someone save her," because I could not handle the sheer gravity of her pain. It's giving major I cannot even energy, and my grip on reality was officially slipping at this point. Wait, I'm glitching. Okay, back to the main event. So after she yeets the lipstick, she just loses all sense of self-preservation. She starts running. In the pitch black, in a room filled with heavy, sharp-edged, billionaire furniture. Bestie, I was straight up screaming into a pillow. What is she doing? You cannot run when you are blind and having a panic attack. The camera is shaking, following her frantic, tear-streaked sprint across the room, and the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. It felt like a high-octane psychological masterpiece where the stakes are literally life and death. Every step she took, my heart rate spiked to dangerous levels. And then the tragedy strikes. It happened so fast, but in excruciating slow motion. She trips. I don't know if it was the edge of that ridiculously plush rug or a stray slipper, but she completely loses her footing. She goes flying forward, and there is absolutely nothing to catch her. She crashes hard, and I mean hard, into the wall. The sickening thud of her head making impact echoed through my entire apartment. I literally gasped so loud, my neighbor knocked on the wall. It was violent, it was sudden, and it was genuinely terrifying. Nikki collapses to the floor, completely crumpled, clutching her head in absolute agony. The silence that followed was deafening. I was genuinely convinced the writers had just taken her out. I was ready to riot. I was drafting an angry tweet in my head while holding my breath. She's lying there on the floor, groaning, and the pain is just radiating through the screen. And this is where the absolute cinematic mayhem reaches its peak. Because as she's lying there, clutching her skull, something shifts. The camera zooms in on her face, and her eyes flutter open. At first, it's just confusion. But then, she blinks. And she blinks again. And you guys, I am deceased. The blurriness starts to fade. The shapes start to form. The sliver of moonlight creeping through the curtains actually registers in her retinas. She can see. The impact, the trauma, the absolute brutal hit to her head somehow miraculously completely rebooted her optic nerves or whatever medical nonsense the writers are peddling, and honestly, I don't even care about the science because I am living for this miracle. I was physically vibrating from the sheer audacity of this plot twist. A head bonk? A literal cartoon head bonk cured her blindness? It is so unhinged, so soap opera, so purely chaotic that I am obsessed. Nikki's expression goes from pure agony to absolute mind-bending shock. She looks at her hands. She looks at the wall she just headbutted. She looks at the smeared lipstick on her fingers. The realization washes over her in real time, and Melody Thomas Scott deserves every single Emmy in existence for the way she played that transition. She didn't even have to say a word. You could see the entire world coming back to life in her eyes. Manifesting a total dumpster fire by the next update, but right now, this is pure magic. And of course, because he has a sixth sense for whenever his wife is in danger or whenever he needs to assert dominance, Victor bursts into the room. He must have heard the crash. And let me tell you, I have never seen this man move so fast. He is panicking. The great Victor Newman, the man who is usually as cold as ice and as calculating as a supercomputer, is completely unraveling. He drops to his knees next to her, his voice cracking, his hands hovering over her because he's terrified she's broken her neck. "Nikki! My baby, what happened?" he's yelling, and for a split second, I almost forgave him for stealing her shares. Almost. They are officially still on my do not perceive list, but the raw emotion in this moment was straight up undeniable. Victor is trying to assess the damage, but Nikki isn't crying from pain anymore. She's crying from sheer, overwhelming relief. She looks up at him, and she actually looks at him. She locks eyes with him, and you can see the exact moment Victor realizes what is happening. The panic in his chest evaporates, replaced by this earth-shattering shock. "Victor, I can see you," she whispers, "and I swear to you, my soul actually left my body. I was a puddle on the floor. I was dehydrated from crying." Victor lets out this breathless gasp and just pulls her into the most desperate, bone-crushing hug of the century. He is burying his face in her neck, holding on to her like she is the only thing keeping him tethered to the earth. The emotional whiplash of this entire sequence is genuinely going to send me to therapy. We went from the darkest, most depressing existential crisis to a violent, terrifying accident, straight into a miraculous, tear-jerking reunion, all in the span of like 4 minutes. My brain is visibly buffering. I cannot handle the gravity of these events. I am too unwell. This situation is now my entire personality, and I am not okay. What does this mean for the future? Now that Nikki has her sight back, is she going to realize Victor stole her company? Is she going to see the paperwork? I'm calling it the villain arc is about to go nuclear. She is going to take her power back, and there will be absolute hell to pay. I need to go lie down in a dark room and process this, but honestly, I'll probably just rewatch the scene 50 more times. Okay, I love you guys, stay chaotic, and I will see you in the next update.